So, welcome to the two people in the chat. Divine Discoveries. Good to see you, babe. It has been a while. I appreciate your energy. Uh, Welcome to the other person in the chat and whoever else might be hiding in the bushes. I wanted to start a little bit earlier tonight so that, I would catch a few more people up. I do feel that I do have some downloads written down, but I'm feeling like this is going to be mostly a channeled message. Okay. Because I'm looking at my downloads and I'm like, what am I even talking about here? But I do know what I'm talking about. So I want to talk about grace and the law of grace, the optimistic one. Welcome. And divine discoveries, it just happens to, like, on when you get to a certain part of your path, everything just seems to appear right on time. It's, like, kind of when they say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Yeah, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? The path is just really magical. When you start to like stay in the 4D and moving up into the higher realms, yeah, everything becomes very magical. The other day I had written something like on a comment on someone else's video, and part of the comment that I had written down was saying something about the chosen one, or being a chosen one. And while I was reading my own comment, like, I had written it and then I was reading it back over, I was in the car with a family member, and the music that was playing on their radio, I was reading my own comment, like, in my mind silently. But as I was reading what, I'm saying, I'm a chosen one, silently in my mind, the music was saying it right along with me, like, as if, you know what I'm saying, it was my voice saying it out loud. It was just the weirdest thing. I don't even remember the song that was playing, but it was like the song was confirming what I was saying inside my mind, like, at the exact same time. It was very 5D. So yeah, everything seems to appear right on time. Once have gone through certain rites of passage to receive grace. And so that's what we're kind of going to be talking about going forward. But I do want to, because it's been about a week. I did go out of town over the weekend. I've actually gone to a wedding. I had a whole bunch of fun. I stayed on Beale Street in Memphis and just had a ball over the weekend. And so I've kind of been a little bit jet lagged and trying to get, back balanced, because I had, right before I left town, I had actually moved. And so, I'm just kind of, I took today off and I've been relaxing. And so, this is me just now getting back to work, and, I'll be back to work with my clients tomorrow. So yeah, I did take a few days off because I needed it, and I encourage you guys to do that as well whenever you need it, because, it's absolutely synchronicity, divine discoveries. I was like, oh my God, like, it was like a whole nother voice saying exactly what I was reading in the perfect timing, what I was reading within my own mind. I mean, that's just a beautiful synchronicity. The synchronicities are just so, they put you in awe of God and how perfect that the design is. Okay. So yeah, thank you to whoever just sent me a Cash App too. I'm absolutely sending abundant blessings out. And we know that the whole 555 thing is about circulating, the cash flow. And we're going to go into that as a whole different video. But that's what the 555 circle is about. Is just about understanding how money must move. It has to stay in circulation. And so when you push it out, you know what I'm saying, when you keep it moving, then it's going to continue to flow. It has to keep moving, as does all energy. You can't hoard it, you can't keep it stagnant, but you have to keep it moving. So that's basically what the 555 circle is about. So whoever just joined it, welcome. So I kind of want to go back a little bit and talk about the law of karma. uh, just simply to refresh us on how the enemy can use the law of karma to keep us stuck in loops. Let me move my phone, because as soon as I go live, then here all this stuff starts to happen. Okay, so we talk about, I talk a lot about hypnotic rhythm. It's important that, to me, that people understand hypnotic rhythm. And so, it's basically the enemy using the law of karma to keep you stuck, okay, in loops of negative energy. Okay, so my breakdown of the law of karma basically states that you will experience the effects of that which you have caused. Okay, so this is why the narcissist triggers and provokes us into negative emotions, not just to feed off of our energy. Okay, they do it to do that as well. They are absolutely energy vampires, but they provoke us into these negative emotions also to influence us to say words, to think thoughts, and do deeds that will create more karma, okay, for ourselves, okay, thereby keeping us in this repetitive loop of our own negative energy that we are unconsciously creating, okay, by acting on negative emotions, which is literally, acting on negative emotions. Negative emotions in themselves is basically just negative energy moving, negative energy in motion. So your energy, the way that I break it down is our inner God and goddess. Okay. And so your inner God and goddess is your spirit, the spirit that is within you. Okay. So the spirit, depending upon which end of the light spectrum that we are vibrating on at the time, we all have the potential to become God or the quote unquote devil. Okay. They're just different ends of the spectrum of light. Okay, so you go to the brighter end and you have God energy, and you go to the darker end and you have what we call devil energy. It's just high vibratory energy and low vibratory energy. So depending upon which end of that spectrum that we're resonating with, we all have the potential to resonate on either end of the spectrum. Your energy is your inner God or goddess. And we have, we can go from the most high God, which is, the great spirit, the infinite spirit that, dreamed us into being, okay, out of love. But there are also lesser gods on every level, from the most high to the most low, okay, what we call the devil. So emotion is literally your inner God or goddess, be it a dark God, a lesser God, or a lighter energy, okay, or the most high God. It's literally your inner God or goddess moving in motion, meaning that when the human being is being emotional, when we're acting out of emotion, raw emotion, depending upon the quality of that emotion, you are literally allowing the energy of either God or the quote unquote devil to compel you, to move you. Okay? Your inner God or goddess in motion, energy in motion, emotion. So when you set your energy in motion, because I hear a lot of people talking about it, but we have to really understand that this is, us acting on our emotions, whether it be a raw emotion of, rage, like the narcissist, when they have no impulse control, or whether it's a raw emotion like love, which the empath acts out of. When you set that energy in motion, you literally activate that law of karma, okay? Whether it's good karma or bad. Even as you send it out, it's already on its way back to you. So this is why the beginning of wisdom is the fear of this law of karma. It's fear of the inevitable boomerang of your own energy hitting you back in the face. Okay, so the video is about grace. So We talked about, the fear of the beginning of wisdom being the fear of the law of karma. And again, the boomerang of that energy coming back to you when you send it out. This is why most people who, slither like snakes, and the type of people who throw the rock and hide their hands, and covert narcs and people like that, they're always paranoid, because on a deeper level, whether they allow themselves to be aware of it on the surface or not, these people know instinctively, inherently, that the energy that they have sent out, they know that it's coming back in some way, shape, or form. Okay. However, Yeshua brought the gospel, the good news, that there is one law that transcends the law of karma, the law of consequence, or cause and effect. So the law that transcends the law of consequence, the law of karma, the law of cause and effects, would be the law of forgiveness, or the law of grace. In 3D, where the children of lesser gods will find themselves stuck, we have learned that we reap what we sow. But in 5D, those who are anointed, the prophets in the mouths of God, the healers, do not operate under the law. The empath, the star seed, the light worker, operates under grace. What is grace? Grace is when you are able to reap what you haven't sown. The grace is when the goodness of God is just poured out all over you as a divine birthright, just for belonging and being a part of the body of God. It's your divine birthright blessings that was promised to you just for becoming physical, for emanating love, for being willing to be the mouth of God, for being willing to be obedient to spirit, to speak when God tells you to speak, to place your hands on another person when God tells you to touch, to love when God tells you to love. So for those who have done the work to willingly to, cleanse yourselves, to heal, those who are doing the work to purge, to better yourselves in whatever way, so that you are able to be used as a vessel. You will go through several rites of passage, and then you will find yourself entering under the umbrella of grace. So those who are anointed to do a work in the body of God, to speak a word, to be a healer, to do whatever it is that you came to do, understand that this is why you are so hated and loved at the same time. Because of grace. Because some of your gifts, because grace is literally a gift. It's like an Ace of Pentacles blessing from the universe, from God. It's a gift. It's not something that you necessarily sowed in the way that you would sow something in 3D. But some of your gifts are very visible. And this breeds jealousy in the watchers. The watchers are always watching and coveting. This is what causes the anxiety in a lot of people who are gifted, who are clairvoyant, who are clairaudient, who can feel, who are clairsentient, who can feel this energy around you. This is what causes your anxiety, because of the watchers. They're watching, they're coveting, but that's all they can do is watch. Okay. They know that they are not allowed to touch a hair on the head, okay, of God's anointed, or to do his prophets any harm in any way. Okay, they know this. So it's important that you also know this. So this is why I always offer Psalm 91, and all of the, all of the scriptures, not just in the Bible. There are other, you know, texts that you can, get a divine word from. It's not about the book. It's not about the religion. It's not about even the messenger. It's about the message. It's about the relationship. So understand that the watchers are always watching. And also understand that that's all they can do. They're not allowed to touch you. Okay? They're not allowed to do you harm in any way, lest they be cast into the abyss forevermore. They know this. So it's very important for God's children, the anointed, God's co-workers, God's healers, to walk forward in their anointing, knowing that you are divinely protected under the umbrella of grace, blessed and highly favored. And this is why you are so loved and hated at the same time. This is why you are so coveted and watched. This is why they copy you. This is why they try to bury you and copy you at the same time. This is why they want to be you, because of the grace that you walk under. The grace that is protecting you like an umbrella of love and light, shielding you from the quote unquote devil and all of his pathologically envious co-workers. See, they know more than you know because of your humility, that all that belongs to God also belongs to God's anointed. They know this. It is very frustrating, Divine Discoveries, because I remember when I was in church and I understood, the Bible in a different way. We all have a different perspective of, the scriptures. We all have a different perspective of, this path. Again, that's why I say it's not about the religion. It's not about the messenger. It's not about the book that you're coming out of. It's about the message. It's about the relationship. And we all have a very personal relationship, or we should have. We should not be following anyone, but we should be, if there's a teacher who, is before you, if they're not teaching you to cultivate a personal relationship with the infinite spirit that is within you, then I would question that teacher. We shouldn't have anyone trying to make you become dependent upon them, but they should be empowering you to find the source of your own power. And so I remember trying to, even not even just in church. I mean, even now, like even on, different panels that I sit on, speaking on different things, and different apps that I talk to. There's a lot of people who don't like to listen. They like to shut you down if you're not agreeing with them. We all know, people like Nature Boy and people like that out there. You know what I'm saying? This is very common because, unfortunately in 3D, there are more narcissists, or it appears that there are more narcissists, people who are narcissistic in nature, than there are people who are empathic. The empath, the starseed, the light worker is very rare. And so it's very hard. So when a narcissist is basically unteachable. Okay. And so you find yourself amongst these people who they are very frustrating, because a lot of people are set in their ways. A lot of people of a certain age group have been programmed to defend their religion, whether it has helped uplift them or whatever or not, whether they're still been sitting in the same church in the same seat for 30 years with the same problems, the same issues. They are very loyal to these things because they have been indoctrinated. So a lot of people, it is hard. And it is very frustrating, but that's a part of the path. The further that you go, you will start to really understand divine discoveries and be able to accept that you have done your job when you have given the message. And whether they accept it or not is not your problem. A lot of times, I would be instructed to just leave like if they didn't accept the message, leave it there. Leave it on the seat, leave it on the floor, let it fall on the floor and just walk away, because in giving the message, you have done your job. You will find that as time passes, these people who left that message on the floor, you'll find them coming back, sneaking through the door, looking for that message. They'll come back and get it later. They'll even come back to you and tell you, I wouldn't listen to you, when you tried to tell me a year ago, 2 years ago. But, now that I've gone through this and that, I had to come back and pick that message back up off the floor. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always, it's not always received in our timing, but it is always right on time, and it's always going to be received in divine timing. So what helped me the most, divine discoveries, was to accept that my job was to deliver the message. Whether they accept it or not is their problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not up to me. It's not, I can't feel like a failure if the person is not listening, if they don't receive it. Okay. Because again, the message has been delivered. If it's truthful, it is not going to dissipate. Your words will not return to you void. If it was given with loving intent, again, it will linger in the air until they're ready to come back and get it. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, absolutely. All my information is in the description box, or it will be once this live is done. Divine Discoveries. I will be available tomorrow. The only reading that I have right now tomorrow is at, I believe, 2:00. So I should be available around 3 or 3:30, but you can just send me an email. So yeah, it was important to me to remind you guys that you are divinely protected, because a lot of our paths are getting strange. Okay, as Divine Discovery said. For me, I'm actually loving my path, but it is getting strange as well. I absolutely understand what you're saying, but it's strange and yet very beautiful at the same time for me where I am. But I do understand the strangeness, absolutely. So I'm here to just basically help you guys to get out of the weird part of the strangeness and actually be able to embrace it and enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? To let go of any anxiety or fears or anything that it may be triggering within us. Okay, so if you're anointed, a lot of us at this time are being activated in the supernatural, even as we speak. Okay, for me, in my throat chakra. And, there's still more healing that I can do and I need to do in my throat chakra to deliver even deeper truth. Because having been, and I don't always want to keep talking about the narc relationship, but having been in that situation for 3 years, I was not allowed to express myself. So I did not feel heard, and so after a while, I just stopped talking. So, me starting to talk again, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of healing that has to happen in my throat chakra. That among other things. The reason why that I brought that up is because that's one of the ways that I have been activated is through my throat chakra. So a lot of people that I speak with, they are getting activated when I speak with them. But then there's other people that I speak with that are also activating me. Uh, it's a beautiful thing on this path. Again, I talk about, I stream on other apps, and I sit on panels of some very intelligent people. And some of these people are so filled to the brim with God that I feel like I'm getting checked by God. Like, like, things that I need to tighten up on, still, because we're never done learning. We're never done evolving and, bettering ourselves. We're never only a teacher and not a student. We're always a student and a teacher. You know what I'm saying? We everyone that we come into contact with is a teacher, whether they came to teach us self-love or selfless love. Okay, so some of the lessons are painful. Some of the lessons we reject. Either way, there has been a lesson taught, and it will be learned. Okay, in divine timing. So, what do we do with the grace? Okay, so the grace, it's a gift that we share. It's a gift. So it's like a gift is something that we receive that was shared with us. And the way that you multiply it is to share. So this is why I have the 555 circle here. I go on other apps, and I sit on panels again, and I share a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I share a lot, like large amounts, but I share gifts, simply because I was sitting on a panel the other night, and there was someone in the panel who just seemed to be offended by the fact that people are sharing gifts on this other app. You're able to share gifts that, people can exchange for money if they get so much of it. Okay. And so I share because I know about how you're supposed to circulate money, and you're supposed to, you know what I'm saying, keep it moving, keep it circulating. And this other person seemed to just I could feel it. Like, they didn't necessarily say anything. What they said was, well, money. They didn't even say anything directly to me. They were just like, giving money and all that, and gifts and stuff. It means absolutely nothing. And because of the way that I pick up energy, I could feel that person was really trying to, you know what I'm saying? And I just didn't understand it, because, what is the problem with people sharing? Okay. But when you get grace, it's a gift. It's, and so naturally, when you're blessed with grace, you naturally want to share it. So this is when you get, people coming out just wanting to share their testimony, wanting to share their journey. I'm sharing my story, what I've been through, with the hopes of helping people down their path, helping them to light their path, helping them to get to where you are. Okay, it's a joy. You feel compelled by that spirit of God within you to, reach back and pull other people up or out. Okay, and so at this time, a lot of people are being activated in the supernatural with these gifts. Your gifts are being heightened and being turned on as we speak. You're being activated in the supernatural. So if you're hearing ringing in your ears, these are downloads coming in. Okay. And when you get these downloads, you need to move into your heart center to discern the messages. Okay. So that's some of the weird things that are happening. That's, kind of what, divine discoveries. The circulation, it has to move. All energy has to move. Because once it begins to be stagnant, then it starts to turn into other things, unnatural things. Okay. But some of us have already been activated with, when you're activated, it compels you. It's like the spirit is within you, and you feel compelled to go out and heal and bless others in various ways. We all operate under our gifts in very unique ways that will, again, put you in awe of God. I have met some very magical, you know what I'm saying, some very high vibrating people that has just, I'm like, oh my God, I'm absolutely amazed by you. But they are equally amazed by me, and we are all, you know what I'm saying, sharing and learning from one another. But, we do our work in whatever way that we are at, we have been molded. Our gifts all come through us in different ways. And when we come into contact with one another, others of like frequency, we salute the divinity within each other. Okay. And we also need to understand again that everyone is your teacher, whether they are teaching you a painful lesson of, self-love or selfless love. They are still here to teach that lesson. The lesson, inevitably will be taught and learned. We meditate for the messages. Meditation is absolutely essential. Okay. The songs now, the quiet whispers that I can't make anything out. Okay, so yeah, I was just about to say that. That's so, yeah, the synchronicities, divine discoveries. I was just about to say, when you move into your heart center and you start to decipher this ringing in your ears, and it doesn't only appear as the ringing in your ears, but I know that a lot of people are experiencing the ringing. When you move into your heart center, this is when you start to hear things like songs. Okay. That's where I got the analogy of the umbrella, because I think I told you guys this before, that I was listening to someone else channeled messages. Okay. And channeled messages from someone else. And they were talking about how the rain was coming. These rains were coming. And as I was listening to this other person's channeling their messages about the rain that was coming, my own spirit began to sing the song, when the sun shines, we'll shine together. Know that we'll still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. No, they said, now that it's raining more than ever, know that we'll still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh, eh. So, it used, things like that. You will start to be able to, you will recognize the voice of the Most High speaking in all kinds of different voices. So it came through as Rihanna singing Umbrella. Okay. But I absolutely deciphered that message as, God telling me that I am absolutely protected. And the umbrella is grace. Okay. And so, this is, the messages come through in very unique ways. And this is why I'm in awe of when I see the way that other people decipher their messages. You guys know I get a lot of my messages in dreams, in visions. I hear things, I see things, and I feel things. Some people have other gifts. Some people can smell. They have psychic smell. I don't like to use the word psychic, but simply because the psychic plane is a plane of many minds instead of the one mind. Okay. So that we want to be on the mind and in basically the unified field where we all feel connected. Okay. And unified. And we see one another as extensions of one another. That will be the difference between the empath, the starseed, the light worker, and the narcissist. The narcissist believes wholeheartedly in the illusion of separation from God and also from one another. And with us, we feel one another. We feel other people. We know inherently that we are connected to those of like light through our heart centers. And so in order to decipher the messages of spirit, the discernment comes from being connected in the heart center. Okay. I'm actually a Taurus. The only part of my chart that I can't remember, and I feel intuitively that it is a Pisces, because that, like, I don't really, I'm a very emotional. I'm not gonna say emotional. I'm gonna say I'm a very empathic person, but my chart hardly has any water in it. So I'm like, okay, there has to be water, okay, because I cannot remember my south. Is it the south node? So I'm thinking that must be where the water is, because all of the rest of my chart is like air and earth, you know what I'm saying? So a little bit of fire too. I have some fire placements, but the water is, I'm like, where's the water when I am very empathic, you know what I'm saying? I'm very watery. So I feel Pisces somewhere, but I have not seen it in my chart, Jason Schaffner. But I do feel I'm very compatible with Pisces. I love Pisces. Okay. But I know exactly what you're saying. I'm actually trying to move away from interpreting things like that, because we all have like all of it in we're made up of all of it. Okay. But no, I'm a Taurus sun. Libra rising. The placements that are important to me is my rising in my North Node, which is an Aquarius, the healer, the teacher, you know what I'm saying, the star. Not in an egotistical way, but the star meaning the beacon of light, the light worker, the guide. Okay, that would be my purpose. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the placements that I really identify with in my chart. But I was on another panel earlier with, again, some very intelligent people, and we all appreciate the very unique perspective that we each person has. Because when you're empathic, you don't see everything as a competition like the narcissist does. We appreciate what each other has to teach. We don't feel that our knowledge is superior to anyone. We don't need to be the chief and to have all these Indians. Okay, we can all be equal. We can all equally sit at the table and offer our piece of the God puzzle. Okay, so it's about being able to salute the divinity within other people, regardless of what lesson or the way that they came to share whatever it is that they came to share. Unfortunately, some lessons do cause pain and suffering, and this is due to a lack of understanding of the law and operating outside of it. It's not necessarily pain is not necessarily a necessary part of the path, but not many people have been able to wake up from the psychoma, their soul sleep, without pain, which is why it's usually a painfully shocking experience that is the catalyst for a spiritual awakening in 3D, because you're awakening from that soul sleep. Okay, that's what a spiritual awakening is, awakening from the psychoma that the human condition, that humans have found themselves in. The human condition would be this illusion, this dream, this psychoma of separation from the source, from God and one another. So unfortunately, some of the lessons are going to cause pain, because pain shocks you. It shakes you out of the dream. Unfortunately, when we get everything we want easily, such as like when we spoil a child just by, deifying the child and just giving them everything, with them not having to do any work on the self, to learn things like how to share and to be, kind and patient with other people. When you have things just given to you, you don't appreciate it. It breeds narcissism. It breeds selfishness. It breeds unappreciation. And so people began to feel entitled instead of grateful for. They feel entitled to another person's energy, another person's attention, another person's love. They just feel entitled. They don't appreciate it. They don't, they're not grateful for it. They, you know what I'm saying? They don't value the person, but they just feel like this is something that they should, they deserve to have without earning it in any way. So, what the narcissist doesn't understand, you can't, trying to live completely off of another person's energy, attention, another person's love. They don't understand is that, the way that, and also the way that they project all of their internal garbage onto the people around them. They don't understand that when you condemn other people, what you condemn in other people, you're basically attracting to yourself. Okay, due to the fact that we are magnetic beings. Okay, shout out to Cryon of Magnetic Service. If anyone knows about Cryon, I've been listening to Cryon for a few years. He's also a very powerful spirit that is usually channeled through a man. I believe his name is Lee Carroll. And Cryon, I laugh every time I talk about it because my brother would laugh at me listening to Cryon, okay? But if you guys don't know about Cryon of Magnetic Service, check him out, okay? Especially if you're an empath, and especially if you're a Heyoka empath, okay? So when the narcissist, is projecting and condemning other people, they're literally attracting the very thing that they're condemning to themselves. So for instance, like if a man, the men who are always condemning homosexuality, for example. Now, I'm not saying the men who don't agree with it, because there's a difference in like not agreeing with a thing, you know what I'm saying? And, I would say a man who is comfortable with his sexuality, and who doesn't agree with homosexuality, isn't necessarily always talking about it, and isn't necessarily always verbally or in some kind of way trying to condemn homosexuality. They simply don't engage with the topic at all, or they say what they have to say and they keep it moving. But when you have these people who, these men who are not comfortable with their own sexuality, you see them overly attentive to certain subjects, and they overly condemn things that, I feel like it's something that they are insecure about within themselves. And this is why it's like overcompensation. And so when we have these types of people, because what we condemn in others, we attract to ourselves. A man who is overly condemning of homosexuality, probably, most likely will end up with a gay son, a gay daughter, having to deal with homosexuality on a very personal level. Okay. And that gay son or that gay daughter, you know what I'm saying? Or those gay inclinations that they might begin to feel even within themselves is there to teach them, okay, selfless love, okay, if in fact they are going to be teachable, okay. So just pay attention to people, because condemning, because there's a lot of people do it all the time, like not just homosexuality. I just use that as an example, but the things that we call ourselves condemning in other people. Listen to people who sit up and just talk smack about other people all the time. Those things that they are trying to condemn in other people, those are the very things that they need to be working on within themselves. Okay. It's not about other people, because the universe is a great mirror. Okay. And, just like Oshun. Okay. And the universe is just only reflecting back to you the reflection of what's happening within you. The experience, the outer seeing of what is within you is what's happening. And so that's what the narcissist doesn't understand when they're projecting all of their internal garbage onto us. They're literally putting themselves in their own loop of hypnotic rhythm, their own loop of negative energy, because again, it's only going to reflect back to you. It's only going to come back. And so the narcissist never gets out of their loop of hypnotic rhythm, like the little man on the motorcycle in my dream that was going around in circles, going insane in that cycle of hypnotic rhythm. Us, on the other hand, we get sick of the emotional roller coaster. We begin to recognize and see it for what it is. If we have that awakening that was, where that very painful, shocking lesson came in and was the catalyst for that awakening, it absolutely wakes us up. We begin to realize that we have been in this hypnosis. We have been in this psychoma, this soul sleep, this cycle of repetitive self-destructive behavior. And we decide to get off. We get off that cycle. We jump off the back of that motorcycle, and we leave the little man going around in circles, going insane, if we're smart. Okay. That's what happens when you wake up. Unfortunately, a lot of narcissists, just like I taught in Dissecting the Devil, was that, once they've gotten to a certain point and they've been in hypnotic rhythm for so long, it's almost impossible to stop it. It's just like a motor. Once it starts to rev up, or it's just like a woman giving birth. Once the process has begun, once you started to push the baby out, once that motor has revved up, it's hard to stop it. You know what I'm saying? It's a process that is like an avalanche. It's like, it's going downhill. It's like a snowball effect. Once the baby begins the process of pushing the baby out, you're not going to be able to suck it back up. You have to push it on out. You have to go ahead and, give birth. And so, your body will absolutely go into autopilot. This happens with giving birth. This happens with an orgasm. This happens with hypnotic rhythm. This happens once you get past a certain point. You're not going to stop it. It's absolutely coming. Okay? And so we have to be very careful of the energy that we put into motion and the quality of it, understanding the law, being very disciplined about the quality of the energy that we put out, because we know what we want to come back. Hence the 555 circle running across the bottom of the screen right now. It's all about putting energy into motion, knowing that it's going to come back, understanding the law, understanding also that grace transcends the law of cause and effect. Grace transcends the law of karma, the law of consequence. Grace is a gift. The only thing you have to do with it is share it. This is how you multiply it. This is how you keep it in circulation. It can appear to you as monetary gifts, money, a new home, a new love, a new relationship, a new whole family of light. Your soul tribe awakening together. Grace appears as everything that your soul desires on the deepest level. It appears as avalanches of abundance, of love, of all of the fruits of the spirit. It's just a gift. It's free. All you have to do is share it to multiply it. So when you're given grace, it comes after you've actually gone through several rites of passage, as far as, working on yourself, doing inner child work, doing, the shadow work, and, cultivating self-love, and also cultivating a relationship with the infinite spirit, the indwelling spirit within you. When you get to a certain point on the path, you find yourself under the umbrella of grace, just in a pure state of pure gratitude. And that state of gratitude is what keeps it coming. Gratitude propels you, it compels you to share your story, to share your information, to share whatever it is that has been shared with you. It compels you to forgive. For me, it has appeared, as, because grace, the law of grace is also the law of forgiveness. I told you guys about when I met Yeshua. I've seen him, and his eyes were the sky. Like there was no eyeballs in there. It was just the sky. Like I knew that this was like a human body that embodied the entire universe. I saw it. And so I told you guys the story of, basically I had hit him on a bike. I felt that he came there to teach me a very important lesson, but I hit him on a bike and could have ruined my life. But when I got up, you know what I'm saying, when he got up off the ground and I looked in those eyes and I saw the sky, and there was just like this instant, immediate forgiveness. And I needed the forgiveness at that moment. I'm like, oh my God, like imagine hitting someone in a car. Like a car is a deadly weapon. Imagine that, what it would feel like you hit a human being. I didn't hit him very hard because I did see him like right before I hit him. So I had braked, but I still hit him. I knocked him off the bike. And so the forgiveness that he immediately gave me, before I could even really ask for it, he was forgiving me. I felt it. And that was grace. That's why I forgive. So like, you know what I'm saying? So every time I think about withholding forgiveness or trying to be angry or bitter about something, I'm always reminded of when I hit him on the bike, and how immediately that he forgave me. And so how dare I try to withhold my forgiveness? Let it flow. The law of grace is the law of forgiveness. Forgive immediately and every time, because you are going to want to be forgiven. There are things that you want to be forgiven for. You're going to need to be forgiven. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. This is part of the Lord's Prayer. This is about the law of forgiveness. This is about grace. This is about paying it forward. I could have killed a man. And was immediately forgiven. And I do believe that it was Yeshua the Christ that appeared there before me to show me how to forgive. Because every time I think about not forgiving someone, I'm reminded of that. Forgive right now, immediately, and every time. Because you are going to want and need to be forgiven. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Welcome. I'm too fly for this BS. You right on time, baby. Good to see you. Blessings are not always monetary. They come in the form of feeling peace, joy, happiness. So whatever form that is going to, manifest in your life, it comes into your life as fruits of the Spirit. Forgiveness is grace. When you forgive, you call grace upon yourself. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. It's a test, you guys. It's a game. This is how you win it. By not engaging, it's about, like Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. So it's about not allowing a low vibratory entity to engage you in low vibratory activities. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be arguing with a fool. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be defending yourself against lies. It's just simply untrue. So disengage. Don't feed the narcs. Grace rises you above the influence of narcissism, of low vibratory devil energy. But it does require forgiveness. It's the same thing. Grace and forgiveness are flip sides of the same coin. They are twin flames. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the message here because I think I've said enough about this, and I kind of want you guys to have time to ponder that. Grace and forgiveness are the same things. They're just coming out of different ends of your heart. Okay? You have to give forgiveness out to receive grace. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So, a lot of the reason I repeat it is because repetition, hypnotic rhythm, right? This is what the devil does. And so in order to erase that, in order to unravel that, I have to replace it. Just like, like I said, for those of you who have received a spoken word remedy, a treatment from me, that's what I'm doing. I'm replacing, unraveling all of that darkness and the negativity, those dark thought forms, and I'm replacing it with something better every time. Rather not that I am replacing it, but I'm helping you to replace it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the vessel. So this is about empowering you to be able to reprogram your mind and to use hypnotic rhythm to your benefit and not to your detriment, so that you are using the power of your own mind to take yourself in the direction that you want to go, and not having the power of your mind and your thoughts being intercepted by something lower than you that understands the law and understands that you don't understand it. The beginning of wisdom is the understanding and the fear of the law, the boomerang effect of your own energy looping back around, okay, and affecting you. Understanding the law, you become very disciplined about your words, thoughts, and your deeds. Okay? So I think that I'm going to leave the message here, you guys. I'm feeling like the next lesson is going to be about intuition and how we get to a place of trusting that and being willing to share the messages that we get. Because I know that a lot of you receive messages in downloads in whatever form. I've seen, again, I've been in contact with some very high vibrating people, and the gifts that they share are so absolutely just beautiful, just breathtaking. I mean, I've witnessed some breathtakingly beautiful art that I know that these people see with the eyes of God. And I'm amazed by it, because my eyes see what they see, but I don't see what they see. You know what I'm saying? And the people who are operating in their gifts in such beautiful and magical ways, people who are just extremely filled to the brim with God. It's inspiring. It's empowering to those around us. And so I want you to be, the next lesson is definitely going to be on intuition, how to trust it and be willing to share what God is telling you to share. Say what God is telling you to say. Sing the song that you're hearing in your head. It's not just for you. Okay? It's a download. It's a message. So we have to be willing to step up to the mic. Okay? And say what God is telling us to say. So that is what the next lesson is going to be about. Intuition, hearing the voice, being willing to be the voice, stepping up to the mic, keeping your promises, fulfilling your contract, your purpose. Okay? So I hope that you guys have really received the word about, grace and forgiveness being flip sides of the same coin. I hope that you understand it. If anyone, again, Divine Discoveries, definitely email me and I will make myself available. If anyone, would like a further breakdown of that, don't hesitate to contact me. But we are going to move forward. Okay. For those of you in my private group, I'm going to break this down even further, and also talk about some laws of abundance and things that I'm not going to be sharing on YouTube. And again, going forward, some of the messages that I am going to live stream, they will self-destruct or disappear once the live stream is gone. Okay, but the message will remain in Oshun Ajay exclusive. Okay, going forward with some of these other laws that we're going to be learning about. So if you want to be, to have access to the exclusive content, click the link to, and you can get it on the first level, the first tier, in Oshun Ajay exclusive on Patreon, but also if you feel that you belong in the NoNarcNetwork, if you feel led, then join us on that tier. Okay. If you have recently joined the private NoNarc Network, your NoNarc Network mug, they were shipped out yesterday. Okay. If you are interested in joining, again, the Patreon link is there, and anything else that you need to know about me, all of the links in the description will lead you back to me. Okay. So I'm going to leave this lesson here. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. If anything that I say doesn't make sense to you, because it's very important that you're able to wrap your minds around the concepts, but I do try to make it very simple. Okay. So, grace and forgiveness are the same law. Okay. And it is the one law that does transcend the law of karma. By forgiving yourself, forgiving those who have transgressed against you, you can release yourself from the cycle altogether. Okay. The way you get caught in the cycle is, negative emotions and acting from the negative emotions, and then creating a loop of negative emotions that are, inevitably coming back to you. Again, this is why the narc likes to provoke you into these negative emotions, not only to feed off of your energy, that is one reason, but also so that you will create a loop of hypnotic rhythm of negative energy for yourself. And this is how you get caught in it. Okay. So the way that you get out is to begin to forgive the people who have hurt you, no matter how hard it is. Forgive, because this is how you release yourself. Forgive yourself, forgive them. This is the whole point of the shadow work, of the inner child work. It's all about forgiveness. Once you have, thoroughly cleansed yourself of, negativity, then you enter into under the umbrella of grace. Okay. So the forgiveness comes first, and then the grace. And with that, I'm going to bid you all love, light, and abundant blessings. I will be back tomorrow. And for those of you who I have appointments with tomorrow, I will be on time tomorrow. Okay. And I will talk to you all soon. Peace.